Fabletown is a community that feels dark. It feels gritty. It is a part of New York, but not that flashy New York we see on TV, or maybe some of the shows and films that we like to watch. The glitz and the glamour of life is usually shown in those instances, but not in Fabletown. Fabletown is filled with fables of fairy tales that we heard as children. The Big Bad Wolf, the Three Little Pigs, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and many, many more. However, they didn't get there happily ever after. They have run away from their homelands and entered our world due to an evil that was wiping them all out. And those who made it to our Mundy world have to live in it as a shell of their former selves. There's no magical singing animals. There's no Prince Charming. There are no castles, there are no dragons, there are no knights to come and save you. Here, our world will eat you alive and spit you right out like it is nothing. This world is slowly destroying our once beloved fairy tales. It is breaking them like nothing before it. And one of the biggest reasons is Fabletown. If you notice, a lot of the fables inside of it dislike it. They call it wretched. They hate the city. They say that it is a terrible place to live. Well, my point is that Fabletown makes the story of The Wolf Among Us great. It evokes the true meaning behind the game like nothing else does. The setting is one of my favorite things about the story, and I would even go as far as to say that it is one of the most beautiful settings I've ever set foot in any video game. Fabletown is dark, but its nighttime is filled with colorful neon lights from all the small businesses that surround it. It has a calmness to it. It almost feels peaceful, the way Bigby enters his apartment with the red neon sign shining inside of his kitchen window, or how he walks down the street smoking a cigarette as the lights flash all in his face. There's something that calls to me. Even though the walls are filled with graffiti and the windows are barred, it has a tone of realism that is relatable. It's the fact that I've been down roads like that. I've been through forgotten cities. Hell, I recently lived in a small town that felt like it never left the 1960s or 70s. It was like it was stuck in history, beaten down to a pulp. Its nickname contains the word murder in it. Needless to say, I don't live there anymore. But going back to Fabletown, I've now mentioned that I love it. Well, I also love the shots that we get of the city or the bridge, the way the rain falls and the lightning and the thunder. It all makes it feel alive. It gives me almost a cyberpunk-esque type of feeling. The brilliance of Fabletown, in my opinion, is how vastly different the day and the night look and feel. During the night, Fabletown can hide behind the night. It can hide behind the neon lights or the heavy rain. But during the day, Fabletown looks uglier, nastier, and most of it feels lonely. Well, The Wolf Among Us is described as a neo-noir crime thriller. Neo-noir is the important part there. The neo-noir genre is a revival of a genre that boomed during the 1940s and the 1950s of Hollywood, named film noir, which was a cinematic term used primarily to describe stylized Hollywood crime dramas, and it is a French term that translates to black or dark. It was a genre that was filled with crime dramas and dark colors, and many people at the time, and even to this day, called those types of movies melodramas. Some of the best film noir movies include Sunset Boulevard, The Big Heat, and The Woman in the Window. However, a neo-noir film has some of the same characteristics as a film noir, but with updated themes, content style, and visual elements. Some of the protagonists of these films are conflicted anti-heroes, trapped in a difficult situation and making choices out of desperation. Some of the best neo-noir films out there include Drive, No Country for Old Men, and of course, Sin City. The Wolf Among Us feels like a game from a different era, and it dives deeply into it. It doesn't seem to hold back, and I love it. I only wish I would have or could have seen more of it and more of its settings, and of course, Fabletown. Because out of everything, Fabletown is the one thing that resembles this dark and gritty feeling that it's meant to have. Fabletown is a walking neo-noir symbol, and one thing that I found myself doing during some of the chapters was just stopping and looking around every opportunity that I would get, because I really wanted to feel the city. Fabletown is much more important than I ever realized. It makes the game great, and it blends and ties every other element of The Wolf Among Us together, especially that music that the game has. It's brilliant. Fabletown is one of the best cities, towns, or communities I've had the pleasure of experiencing in games. And although it lacks the open world and lacks the ability to freely roam it, you can't deny the power it has and how much it calls to you. There's a want and a need to deep dive and to find every corner of the game by exploring it in an open world type of way, but yet you can't, because it carries a certain mystery to it, which in my opinion is beautiful yet brutal. Thank you so much for joining me on another video. I love the world of Fables and The Wolf Among Us. Please let me know if you want more from the world of Bigby and Telltale's masterpiece. Please remember to like and subscribe. I hope you guys have a great weekend.